Good morning, and thank you for joining us. I'm China Green.
And I'm Tim Gordon. We are continuing to follow breaking news this morning of two people who were shot by Border Patrol agents yesterday afternoon, which means we will have your weather and traffic in just a minute.
We have team coverage this morning. Corey Johnson is live outside the South Waterfront ICE facility with a reaction from Portlanders. But first, we want to break down what we know so far.
It happened just before 2:30 p.m. near the Adventist Health Clinic in Southeast Portland. We're taking a live look right now at that clinic. So far, we've mostly seen media there this morning.
A source told NBC News that the people shot are a 33-year-old man and a 32-year-old woman. They were wounded and are being treated for injuries at a hospital. We don't know their condition this morning. DHS says the pair, who are believed to be husband and wife, are in the country illegally and suspected of having ties to a Venezuelan gang and involved in a recent shooting in Portland. The feds say that the driver tried to use his car as a weapon and the agent shot in self-defense.
Local officials are now calling on ICE to halt operations until a full and independent investigation takes place. Catherine Cook has more on how things all unfolded yesterday afternoon.
The parking lot of this Southeast Portland Medical Clinic now ground zero for the latest shooting involving federal agents. Just before 2:30 Thursday, the Department of Homeland Security says U.S. Border Patrol agents shot two people here while conducting a targeted vehicle stop near Southeast 102nd and Main. Inside the car, a man and woman, both in their 30s, and both, feds say, undocumented immigrants from Venezuela affiliated with a gang, prostitution ring, and recently involved in a Portland shooting. Federal officials say when agents identified themselves, the driver tried to run over the agents. That, they say, is when an agent shot at the car. The injured man and woman drove off in this red pickup. You can see the window's been blown out. It ended up here, 3 miles away at 146th and East Burnside. Portland police responded and officers rendered first aid before medics rushed the pair to the hospital. 911 recordings offer a glimpse of their injuries.
It looks like caller saying that he was shot twice by ICE and his wife was shot as well. We have a male who was twice in the arm and his wife who was shot in the chest.
Portland police secured both scenes. Police Chief Bob Day adamant that was their only role in this case.
We do not know the facts of this case. We are simply providing that traditional investigative support and perimeter support.
As federal officials processed the scene, Multnomah County DA Nathan Vasquez processed the situation.
I think the message to the community is that local officials are very carefully monitoring this, and we're making sure that the interests of this community are well represented and that this investigation is done in a thorough and complete manner.
That was Catherine Cook reporting. Sunrise reporter Corey Johnson joined us now from the ICE facility in South Portland.
And Corey, what are you seeing down there, and what have we been hearing from Portlanders?
Yeah, good morning, Tim, China. It's a quiet morning here outside the South Waterfront ICE facility. Now, we do see candles, flowers placed across the sidewalk out here this morning, but no demonstrators currently. Now, a small group demonstrated outside the facility late last night. Neighbors living near Northeast 146th and Burnside, where the man and woman who were shot ended up, were fired up about this incident. This was a scene last night when police tape surrounded an apartment complex in Northeast Portland, and onlookers surrounded the scene miles away. Activists turned up near Adventist Health, telling us they would be out to demonstrate and speak out against the federal agents in the wake of this shooting.
I think it is critical that we bear witness to these events and that every person is afforded the same rights and the same due process.
And again, as I mentioned, candles, flowers placed along the ground outside the ICE facility early this morning. No demonstrators currently, but we'll be out here throughout the duration of the morning and we'll continue to keep you updated.
Corey, thanks very much. And this morning, we're also hearing from local leaders at nearly every level speaking out about the shooting.
Portland Mayor Keith Wilson is calling for ICE to get out of the city, at least for now.
We know what the federal government says happened here. There was a time when we could take them at their word. That time is long past. That is why we are calling on ICE to halt all operations in Portland until a full and independent investigation can take place.
When a president endorses tearing families apart and attempts to govern through fear and hate rather than shared values, you foster an environment of lawlessness and recklessness. Trust is essential to maintaining community safety and the rule of law.
We also received a statement from Oregon Senator Christine Drazen. She said, quote, "I am disappointed but not surprised to see our state's politicians rush to judgment and treat dangerous criminals like victims. I want law enforcement to arrest transnational Tren de Aragua gang members and take them off our streets, end human trafficking, and make our communities safer." She then went on to say an investigation is underway. That investigation will determine whether today's use of force was warranted. The last thing we need in a moment like this is a bunch of grandstanding politicians exploiting this situation and inciting fear to advance their own political agendas.
Well, we will continue our coverage of this big story in just a minute, but first we want to get your local forecast. So here's Rod Hill.
I am so relaxed this morning as a weather forecaster because we have no alerts. The weather has calmed down. The winter storm up in the Cascades did end yesterday as expected. By the way, 30 to 40 inches of snow between Meadows and Timberline. Kind of ballpark figures came down Tuesday to Thursday. Those passes are snow-packed but well plowed this morning. Changed traction tires if you're going up to the high country. And here's our quiet morning, kind of a mixed bag of clouds, but we have some clear spots too. One of the bright spots, I know it's still dark, but has been Lincoln City. Our Snickwins Casino Resort cameras showing some twinkling stars. It is mainly clear when you get just south of Salem down to Eugene. Good visibility of our state capitol this morning. You folks in Salem looking at a morning number 35, and that's probably still dropping. We're closer to 40 in Portland. We've had some misty spots around. I might change the graphic. It looks like there's very little of any of that going on right now. Generally increasing sunshine at the bus stop, and we'll get up to about 50 degrees. Here's Chris.
Oh, but wait for it, Rod. Maybe I found some mist.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. It looks a little damp there at the Sylvan Hill. Highway 26 right now at Skyline Boulevard still zipping along just fine. I-5 southbound out of Clark County, that looks good as well. So far, the drive times are looking great. We've got light volume, and we're getting around just fine on area freeways. I do want to let you know about this. Tonight, another night of a 99E closure in Oregon City as part of the I-205 Abernathy Bridge improvement project. So just be aware, from 11 p.m. until 7 a.m. tomorrow, 99E will be a no-go, so you have to use I-205 to get around that. Next weekend, there's a closure, overnight closure of the Abernathy Bridge, and we'll talk more about that as we get closer. Tim?
All right, Chris, thanks. And back to the breaking news we're following this morning in Southeast Portland, where Border Patrol agents shot 2 people yesterday afternoon.
With the FBI leading the investigation, Oregon Attorney General Dan Rayfield declared that he is opening a formal investigation into the shooting and the actions of the agents involved. This morning, we're also hearing from a former FBI agent who trained federal officers. So we asked Brian Dugan to weigh in on the bigger picture here. He said, from his perspective, what we've seen in Portland and Minneapolis is a product of escalated enforcement that's moving too fast.
We're trying to go after more violent offenders and or effectuate more immigration arrests. That means there's just a lot more contact in an operational sense, especially when there's a lot more unknowns. It's making a tinderbox for both the law enforcement professionals and the citizenry.
Dugan says that he'd like to see a pause to make sure agents are handling these arrests in the right way. He also tells us that under federal rules on use of force investigations, there won't be many public updates going forward. And as a reminder here, the official statement from Homeland Security says that this was a planned, targeted operation going after a, quote, Venezuelan illegal alien affiliated with the transnational Tren de Aragua prostitution ring and involved in a recent shooting in Portland.
In the past, members have been linked to drug smuggling, prostitution, and extortion. And under the Biden administration, the gang was listed as a transnational criminal organization. Then last year, the Trump administration labeled it a foreign terrorist organization and ordered the deportation of alleged members. In September, authorities say 11 members were killed during airstrikes on boats while allegedly smuggling drugs to the U.S. in international waters. Again, Homeland Security says the people were shot and injured. A man and woman in their 30s were affiliated with that gang. And Portland police say they took 5 people into custody last night on charges including riot, disorderly conduct, and interfering with a police officer near the South Waterfront ICE facility. A 6th person arrested for refusing to use amplified sound equipment and was charged with disorderly conduct. A reminder for you, police here in Portland say they don't engage in immigration enforcement, but are still responsible for maintaining public safety and enforcing state laws. Of course, this is a developing story that we're going to be tracking all morning here on air and KGW Sunrise online as well and streaming on KGW Plus.
Turning back to your forecast now by way of our Wells Fargo Skycam. We are taking a live look right now as the city lights shining bright on this Friday. Rod Hill is joining us now. He says it's very calm right now.
It's very calm. How'd you do that?
Very calm.
Both hands.
I can't really do that, but
Like a
I'll work
maestro?
on that.
Is that what they're called? You do that?
Very calm. By the way, here's Timberline Live this morning. All dry up there. Storm did finish itself yesterday. 48 inches is the base that they are now reporting at their ski resort up there at 6,000 feet. They've been working the snow in the parking lot. There goes the plow. 24 degrees, but not much wind. So should be a really nice weather day with developing sunshine up there to enjoy all the snow that fell the last couple of days, the feet of snow. Here's downtown Portland. China mentioned nice, quiet, and calm, light winds, 41. Notice the wind direction east-southeast. I do think we'll slowly pick up an east wind out of the gorge today, but no more than 5 to 15 is the plan anyway. Right now, Gresham is at 38, light winds out that way, 40 down in Wilsonville. It's been kind of a clear sky night, at least the back half of it, when you get near Salem and then you drop to the south toward Eugene. Salem's at 35. Down in Eugene, it's been 32 this morning. Here's the afternoon map, and we will be dry, about 40 out east, 40s to maybe 50 in parts of the valley, and I think most of the coast will get up and hit 50, 52 today. And again, not much wind at the beach with some sun to partly cloudy skies. The cloudiness is just going to be kind of nipping at us at times over the weekend. There's a chance of rain along the north coast even tomorrow. I think for Portland, the best chance, if we get any rain, will develop Sunday PM hours into Monday morning. And again, that rain might hold up to our north. But all dry today, all dry tomorrow in the Rose City as well. 50 and 51 degrees. That's your update.
Thank you, Rod.